problem is that he'll end up sacking her and no one will give him any credit because it's taken too long. So he ends up upsetting the people who like Suella Braverman but doesn't get any uptick from the people who don't.
What did for her in the end? Was it the op-ed? Was it stuff before that? Was it a cumulative thing? Or was it actually what happened over the weekend with the violence at the protest?
Yeah, it's not policy. There were lots of people who think that because Rishi Sunak was the yin to the Boris Johnson yang, he was a sort of calmer, more sensible, liberal favourite who gave us all free food to eat out to help out. Actually, his politics are not that different from Suella Braverman's. The way she goes about it is different. She's a bit more in your face and a bit more aggro than his sort of let's try and placate everyone. So the thing that we'll have done for her is the fact that she was asked to make changes to an article in the Times and she didn't make them. Now, to some extent, this is the excuse because it's much easier to sack someone over that than some sort of complicated, weighing up a policy position. I think there were two problems that Rishi Sunak's got. One is that was 4 or 5 days ago, and we've seen this before. In fact, somebody's just got in touch with me, a listener's got in touch with me, pointing out that when he first appointed his cabinet, and it had Suella Braverman, Gavin Williamson, Nadeem Zahawi and Dominic Raab in it, questions were raised about all of those, and now all of them have gone for sort of the things that he was warned about at the time. And
this word keeps coming up, weak.
Yeah, precisely. And this is the thing that dogs him all the time. That even if he ends up where people hoped he would have ended up, it takes so long. I had a text from a Tory MP last night, basically saying that the problem is that he'll end up sacking her and no one will give him any credit because it's taken too long. So he ends up upsetting the people who like Suella Braverman but doesn't get any uptick from the people who don't. And once again, we keep saying, it's the big week for Rishi Sunak, it's the big week. It was the party conference season and that fell flat. Then it was the King's speech last week, completely overshadowed by Suella Braverman on tents and then on protests. This week, he wants it all to be about Rwanda, inflation. The inflation figures this week might show that he has halved inflation as he promised. Not that he's done it, it's the Bank of England, but even so, his promise has been met. And again, it's all going to be overshadowed by the internal Tory psychodrama. And then we'll go into the autumn statement next week, which is supposed to be another big moment when he resets. And it will still be Tories fighting over each other. Liz Truss has got a report out this week, although she's slightly distancing herself from it, on the Growth Commission. So again, he's sort of, despite being Prime Minister, he's not sort of the master of his own destiny.
What I don't understand here is that when she wrote that op-ed and then didn't change it the way she was asked to, at that point, what was she doing? What was her motivation at that point? That, see if he sacks me, or if he doesn't sack. I don't quite understand what was going on there.
I think it was interesting the point that Tim Montgomery was making a moment ago. She was promoted very quickly to the very top of government, and not that many people are very good at politics. And I would put her in one of those categories. The fact that she fires out stuff, as you were saying, Stig, she's very good at broadcast. She's not very good at, the conversation of politics. She wants to fire stuff out there and then sort of not worry about it afterwards. And there will be some of her team around her last week who thought it'd be quite fun if she'd been sacked over an article in the Times, and then she wasn't.
Yeah. I think what's also been interesting, Matt, is just the fact that she says something and then all these ministers come on and we can count them, we can name them all who say, well, I wouldn't have chosen that. I mean, this is what James Heapy said this morning. Hopefully we'll hear it soon.
I wouldn't have used some of the words that the Home Secretary used in her article, but I also think that it would be incorrect to say that those protests, the counter-protests, were entirely a consequence of what she wrote. Tommy Robinson and his EDL thugs were planning their counter-protests well before the Home Secretary published that article.
Right. She's gone. Who's next?
Well, we've just heard that Neil O'Brien, a health minister, has resigned, but we could. He wants to concentrate on his local constituency work. That seems a bit
Don't
weird.
we all?
He was the minister who was supposed to be introducing the smoking ban, one of Rishi Sunak's big flagship announcements. James Cleverly, the foreign secretary, has gone into Downing Street. Now, sometimes during reshuffles, some prime ministers do this, some don't. They get them all in just to tell them that they are staying in their job.
And to confuse the press.
And to confuse the press. That feels quite early for that. Some people, including Harry Cole at The Sun, are saying that James Cleverly is going to replace Suella Braverman as Home Secretary. That opens up an issue for him as to who replaces James Cleverly at Foreign Secretary, who is seen to have done quite a good job at sort of calming everything down. He's quite a good communicator, James Cleverly. He doesn't do the morning round very often, but when he does, he doesn't cause any trouble. That does mean that he will probably have to bring a woman into the Foreign Office because it's been a while since we've had all 4 great officers of state held by men.
Interesting.
So it'll be interesting to see who comes in there. But actually, the Foreign Office is a sort of much less political job.
Yes.
So yeah, it looks like James Cleverly is going to be the new Home Secretary.